Hi guys, welcome to 30 Minutes with Budget. So this is Budget Ghana's podcast series where we break down everything to do with the economy, from the national budget to public projects to all the gists that is happening within the public sphere, where your money is going, where your money is coming from. That is all we do here. So today I'm here with my colleague. We're going to chat. We're going to talk about the 2026 media budget review that is coming out on Thursday. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody's anticipating what the government is going to do, what Honorable Atuforsen is going to say, what are the changes that are going to be made, and all of that. So I'm here with Hamid today. Hamid, introduce yourself to us.
Hello, Nancy. Yes, so my name is Hamid Abdul Mumuni, and I'm the Senior Research Officer for BudgIT Ghana. Today is going to be a great day. I think there is a whole lot that we need to talk about, and yeah, we have expectations. We are going to put that one out, and yeah, we'll see what the mid-year budget review brings when the Ministry of Finance comes in to read it. So yeah, I'm excited for this.
Okay, so let's get into it, right? So last year, 2025, we remember that when the national budget was read in November 2024, we saw that the government was planning to work with something we call an appropriation. Appropriation is basically what the government is eyeballing to spend for everything, and I mean everything, for a particular year. And in economic terms, you call that a fiscal year. So we saw that the minister said that last year we were working with something around 290 billion Ghana cedis, give or take. That's what we're working with for appropriation or budget size. And we saw a lot. That's when we had things like Women's Development Bank. We had things like Big Push. A lot of the initiatives that are making the rounds in the media conversation right now, we heard about those in a 2025 budget. Now, we started 2026. We entered with a lot of optimism. Like, we had a lot of things the government had planned for raising revenue for gender, for agriculture, for for all the oil palm window projects, everything. Yeah.
There were a whole lot of them.
Yeah. And honestly, we at Budget, we were scouring through the figures. We were so excited because a lot of the allocation bags we saw were different, or to say they were more than usually we would see in the national budget. So we saw education getting, like, give or take, the Ministry of Education was taking away like 30 billion. And then we saw that agriculture was taking about, I think, 245 million, which was very interesting because we keep saying that Ghana is an agricultural country. We are food basket, what. But we've seen how basically we have progressed from January to now. And as Constitution demands, we have to have a review of the budget, the numbers we entered the year with. So we want to basically we want to act like economic magicians and try to gauge what government is going to say on Thursday, what the minister is going to tell us. What do you think is going to look like? Looking at the numbers we entered the year with, like, let's talk about it.
Yeah, so first of all, you see, the 2026 budget is a budget that most of the think tanks are describing it as the most ambitious budget. Yeah, so we are looking at a carry on or a transition from the 2025 budget, which is mostly a budget that had the purpose of resetting the economy. It was just resetting the economy, trying to get the economy back onto its feet. So we had the likes of at the end of the 2025 fiscal year, we had the likes of Moody and Fitch ranking Ghana around C++, and then up to like B+ and all that. And that was nice. That pointed out that the fiscal consolidation and the prudent spending and, all the other strategies that government adopted during the 2025 fiscal year
year.
actually work. So we entered into 2026 and we are seeing big numbers, very big numbers. Let's take the big push, for instance. The big push is something that government is talking about so much. So it's very necessary that we bring it into conversation. Let's take big push. We are talking about a CD equivalent of 10 billion Ghana cedis. So that's around 30 billion, $10 billion. That's around
That's it.
30 billion Ghana cedis. Yeah, we are looking at the Women's Development Bank. I think in 2025, the allocation for the start of it was 53 million.
Yeah.
And then we came into 2026 and we are looking at 401 billion Ghana cedis for the Women's Development Bank. And yeah, that's something that's a great step in terms of taking into consideration GESI, that's gender, education, and social inclusion.
Yeah.
That's really nice. Those are some very big numbers. And yeah, we are looking for it to where that has got to so far. Because we've been taking into consideration the 24-hour economy, for instance. There was also 110 billion allocation that was set for that too. And yeah, these numbers are very nice numbers. Yeah, we are looking forward to hear the updates on that because there hasn't been a lot of update on that. We need updates on that, and we hope that the Minister of Finance will read something of that for us to hear.
Yeah, I'm particularly so curious about some of the programs you just mentioned, like the Big Push. The Big Push started with an allocation of 13.8 billion Ghana cedis in the 2025 budget. And we've jumped from that to 30 billion Ghana cedis. So some would say, give or take, let's say 14 billion last year and then 30 billion this year. So it's almost twice the amount. Now, you know that we've had our fair share of ambitious projects in this country. We've had Agenda 111, we've had one district, one factory, we've had one village, one dam. We've had a lot of. We are not strangers to ambition when it comes to government projects. But now the Big Push. Let's talk about the Big Push, right? We know government is aiming to tackle the infrastructure deficits in the country. You cannot buy a good car because a lot of the roads are question mark.
Shambles.
Exactly. So everyone we had the announcements last year during the budget reading, we're all thinking, okay, government wants to do something about it. So I think the point that I feel like people should talk about more is the transparency aspects of things.
Exactly.
Because we know that, okay, we are allocating 30 billion to this particular project. Everyone is excited. You can travel without the bone shaker vibes and all of that. But where are the plans? Where are the project progress updates? Where are the timelines? Who is working on which project? I think somewhere last month, some of us went around the country for a particular project and we visited some of the Big Push locations. At least if you go to those places, you're able to see that, this project, Government of Ghana, so and so, under the Big Push project with this so and so institution, right? And I feel like, okay, fine, we know that this is a Big Push project, but we feel like governments can do more on the transparency aspects of things.
Exactly.
Like, we know that you want to do this, but where have you gotten to? How much has left coffers as far as the allocation back for this particular project is concerned?
Exactly.
Where are the locations that work has started at? Because I think somewhere the early parts of this year, some of us were traveling across the Accra, Cape Coast, Takoradi Road a lot. And we saw that, you'd get certain places around, let's say, Central Region, let's say Cape Coast, or
Winneba,
is it Winneba? Exactly. And you see some progress. Like I would say that you see some work going on. Like the articulators are grading the road. This is happening. You see some activity.
Even between Elmina and Takoradi. Also, we have
yes.
We have Big Push projects going.
Yes, and my friend was traveling to, was it Takwa or Takoradi or so, and he was talking about the fact that he could see some work going on that stretch of the road. Right now, okay, I feel like yeah, we can see that work has started in certain locations. But if I'm not if let's say from January to December, I've not traveled as a citizen, how am I going to know that there is work going on
Exactly.
across the country with this particular project?
Exactly.
How am I going to see that, okay, this is what government is doing? At least something has started. So I feel like we have to explore that angle a little bit. And I'm hoping that Honorable Atuforsin will explore a bit of that in the mid-year review, because the review is basically, we started this journey. Let's see where we've gotten to.
Yeah.
Let's see what we have left and how we can redirect the resources to what we can do from now till December, right? So I feel like big push in particular, I want to see more transparency. Like, is it quarter? It can be quarterly reports. It can be quarterly press briefings to the nation. During COVID-19, we had fellow Ghanaians. We can have something like that where the minister is updating us that, okay, big push. This is where we've gotten. So this is how much we've spent.
Yeah.
This is where we are. Work has started. So watch out for so and so.
Yeah.
It's very important. Then you talked about the Women's Development Bank. I was so excited last year when I saw that in the budget, because I was thinking, so basically, I was so excited when I saw that. Like, what did you think about it?
Oh yeah, it was a good move. You see, we've never seen a budget that specifically focuses on women,
like an allocation as big as that.
A big allocation for women.
A development bank, which is very interesting.
We are looking at an allocation which is directed towards helping women develop
businesses.
Develop their businesses. And that was a very good. I believe it was a very good initiative over there, because that was a budget that you could.
You could see some focus on that.
Yeah. And I can't agree with you more on the big push transparency issue.
Yeah.
There is a lot that we need to know about the big push. How procurement is being done. We don't have any data, no information.
Yeah.
How the contracts were awarded. That's very important. We don't know. We have no idea. We don't have any data. How much was given per contract. We have no data on that. These are things that personally I expect the minister to give us a clarification about.
Yeah.
Aside that, too, when you look at the big push, how the projects were prioritized, we don't have any idea of that too.
Yeah.
Because when you look at the Ministry of Roads and Highways page, we have 77 big push projects going on currently. They have the top 20. They have the middle 37 and then the bottom 20. The top 20, on the average, all top 20 projects on the average are at around 56% completion.
Okay.
The middle 30 is as low as 11% completion. That's the middle 37 projects.
So that's something to see in this review, honestly.
Yes. And then the last or the bottom 20 projects are not even up to 1% complete.
Are you serious?
Oh, yes. And that is tough to look at that. When you open that's the only information on the internet, or the only
available
on the big push.
Yes, and honorable.
There's problem.
Honorable.
So
please.
So you are forcing. So please force for us. We need to know. These are
we need the data. We need the numbers, and this is where the problem is most of the time. The issue of transparency and accountability. There can't be accountability without transparency.
No.
If you don't know what's going on, if you don't know the data, if you don't know where the money is coming from, where it has gotten to, how do you hold them to account?
Exactly.
It will be like you're making noise. Oh, we want our money, but what if the money has been spent? We want our money. What if the money has not been spent? Yeah. So it all starts with opening up the data, the information.
Exactly.
Let us know what is going on.
Yeah.
So I'm really hoping that, Honorable, I know you are in your office and boardrooms, talking to all stakeholders involved, getting the statement ready to talk to us on Thursday. I'm really hoping that you talk about this. And I want to a little bit of clarification also with the Women's Development Bank. It started with a seed funding of 53 million, and then it started work supposedly according to the 2026 budget with the 401 million Ghana cedis allocation. Where should we go? Where do we go to see it?
Exactly.
Where is the tangible proof? Is there a location? Where are the locations? where have we gone? Where have we gone, or how far have we gone with this particular initiative?
Yeah.
Because
Have we acquired a land
a
where
land
we're
for
actually
it.
going to build that on, or
Yes. Do
there
we
is
have
a
a place
facility which
we
is going
can
to be,
visit?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly what we are looking for.
Because I was
Yeah.
recently at a stakeholder event, I think last month or last 2 months, and we're talking about the gender lens of the 2026 national budget. And we're looking at sometimes the way policy language can exclude or include, or go a long way to contribute effectively to the inclusivity and exclusivity angle of how these initiatives are captured.
Yeah.
Exactly for vulnerable populations, women, children, and young people. And if you say that we are going to have a women's development bank, and they're going to be given 401. I don't know why the one is on it, honestly. I would really love to ask the minister, but 401 million Ghana cedis for something like that. When we need to see working,
Yeah.
we need to see what's up with that. Where do we go to see what is going on with that? Because I'm a woman.
Yeah.
I would have a side business. I want to know how I would go to access some of these programs.
Yes.
So, Honorable, we are hoping to see some of these things talked about.
Yeah.
And then I also want to talk about the issue of the CD appreciation. It's one of the core points of conversation from the 2025 to the 2026 fiscal year.
Yeah.
And we were also excited. The CD is doing well, 42.6% appreciation against the American dollar, the 30.2% appreciation against the British pound, and then I think 20% or so appreciation against the euro, which was brilliant, like historically in our economy, right?
Yeah.
Now, the CD is doing, I mean, it's good. It's fairly stable, right? We want to also have some updates on what the government is doing to sustain that momentum.
Yeah.
Because it was a historic win, and we don't want to go back to how it was.
Yeah.
Because if it goes back and we are like around CD to dollar, and we are around, what was that? Was it 20 cedis or 25 cedis?
Yeah, it got to about 21 cedis.
Yeah.
Dropped down to 17, and then
we don't want to see that. I think right now it's 11 cedis.
Yeah, it's now around 11
Yes. So, Honorable, we want to see if there are plans in place to sustain the momentum, because it's very important. Now let's talk about inflation.
We are looking for, I think another thing that we are also expecting to see is the budget performance report for 2025.
Yeah.
That's an important document. We as CSOs, we need that to track. We need that for our tracking purposes.
Yes, honestly.
Yes, we need it. So it's very necessary. And then aside that too, at the beginning of 2025, there were some tax reforms that were
the e-levy.
Yes. So those tax reforms, we need a report on revenue mobilization currently as against the tax reforms.
That was one of the main questions. If we're going to scrap these taxes, what are we going to do in place of the scrapping to make up for the revenue targets, honestly?
Yes.
And I also want us to talk about inflation.
Yeah.
I think I was writing a particular paper, and I was comparing the inflation trend from 2022 to these. As I pointed, we're around 52%.
Yeah, that was 2022.
Crazy. Yes.
Inflation was around 56% in 2022.
Yes. We've come a long way, and government is still putting initiatives in place, and we are hoping that now, let's look at inflation and 2025.
Yeah.
The end period inflation targets was 11.9. And when the 2025 media budget review was presented by Honorable, it was still 11.9.
Yeah.
But then we also saw that around September, thereabouts, we are around 8%.
Yeah.
So now it was beginning to look like, okay, we may be able to exceed our end period targets. And we ended the year with 5.3%, 5.4%. Yes. Yeah. And I think we are now at 5.3.
Yeah, currently at 5.3.
Which is interesting, it's helping.
Yes.
I'm just hoping that
it's not reflecting on the ground.
That's the issue. That's the issue.
That it's not reflecting on the ground.
But do you think that particular problem is a government problem only? Because as an average citizen, I know some of our mothers in the market, the governments will do everything they can do. I mean, not everything, but as much as they can do. And you get to the market and they'll tell you that, oh, this is old stock. So the price has not changed.
Yes, that issue still
It's
prevails.
crazy. I honestly feel like it is a huge chunk of the inflation problem, specifically food inflation issue, lies with us as citizens.
Yeah.
The initiatives are being, I mean, explored, but then you go to the markets, you go to the shop, oh, pacha away, food stock, why? It's a price and in change here. How can you tell me this story? It's like we are shouting at the government to do this, do that, do this, do that. But then it comes to our side to also budge to meet the initiatives halfway. And then we're
And
thinking of
we are
lining
always
our own
yeah.
pockets against each other.
In Ghana,
Which
everyone
is
must chop.
ridiculous. Yeah.
Man
Like I
must chop.
say, man
Man
must
must
chop.
chop. Yes, that's
It's
the kind of thing
crazy,
that we face in
honestly.
Ghana. Yeah.
I feel like we should do better because definitely the minister is going to talk about inflation
Yeah.
in the media review. I'm hoping that we would have dropped from 5.3%. What do you? Let's do predictions. What's your prediction? My prediction is 5%.
Well, 5% isn't bad, but looking at the factors around the world, the global factors currently driving our inflation issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think certain that maybe the 5.3 might be maintained.
Okay.
But by end of year, I'm sure there might have been a slight drop.
Okay.
Maybe 4.8 by end of year. That's my
Okay.
prediction.
Okay. So, Honorable, this is our small, our 2 cents. That was more like 100 cents. But like, Honorable, this is what we want you to know. This is what the conversation is with young people and the civil society space. These are the issues that are of priority to us. These are the issues that we are talking about. These are the things that we want to see in this budget review on Thursday. Please. Let's see some clarification on the big push. More transparency. What's going on? Where has the work started? How much has been spent? Let's see more on Women's Development Bank. Let's see more on, and also one more issue. If you say that the target for the first half of a fiscal year was let's say 200 billion for, let's say, revenue, and then you in the media review we hear that you tell us that, oh, but the actual that you were able to raise was, let's say, 150 billion. That we are grateful for the numbers, but we want more information as to what and what went into perhaps us not being able to meet the target, and if you're able to exceed it, what worked. It's very important. We want to know what is working for us as a people and what is not working. And then we can have those conversations when the full review is out. So, Honorable, we are hoping that you hear us and that is reflected in the 2026 media budget review on Thursday. Once again, this has been 30 minutes with budgets, and we're going to talk more after this review is out on Thursday. So don't go anywhere.